Jupiter, Florida, a town bathed in sunshine, its palm trees swaying rhythmically to the ocean breeze. But beneath this veneer of tranquility, a storm was brewing, hidden within the depths of a young man's mind. This is the story of Austin Harrouff, a seemingly ordinary college student who, on a humid August night, would commit an act of unimaginable violence, forever shattering the peace of this idyllic town. Austin Harrouff grew up in a seemingly loving and stable home. Outwardly, he appeared to be a model child, excelling in school, a natural athlete with a wide circle of friends. But beneath this facade of normalcy, there were cracks, subtle hints of a darkness that would eventually consume him. Friends and family would later recall moments of unusual behavior, fleeting glimpses of a troubled mind. He became increasingly withdrawn, isolating himself from those closest to him, retreating into a world of his own making. His academic performance, once stellar, began to falter, his grades plummeting as his focus waned. These changes, though concerning, were often dismissed as typical teenage angst. The warning signs were there, faint but undeniable, like the tremors that precede an earthquake. Austin's life in the years leading up to the incident seemed to follow a familiar script. He excelled in high school, a popular athlete with a promising future. He enrolled in college, eager to embrace the challenges and opportunities that lay ahead. He joined a fraternity, a quintessential symbol of collegiate life. Yet, beneath this veneer of ordinariness, the darkness continued to brew. His behavior became increasingly erratic, his mood swinging wildly between extremes. He grew increasingly obsessed with his physical appearance, spending hours at the gym. He experimented with drugs, seeking solace and escape in their fleeting euphoria. His family, though concerned, remained oblivious to the depth of his despair. The darkness that had been simmering beneath the surface was now threatening to engulf him entirely. The days leading up to the incident were marked by a palpable shift in Austin's demeanor. His behavior, once merely erratic, became downright alarming. He began expressing paranoid delusions, convinced that he possessed supernatural powers. He spoke of being pursued by demonic forces, his words a jumbled mix of fear and grandiosity. His family, now deeply concerned, urged him to seek professional help. But Austin, lost in the throes of psychosis, refused. On the night of August 15th, 2016, Austin joined his family for dinner at a local restaurant. He became agitated, his words incoherent, his eyes wide with fear and paranoia. He stormed out of the restaurant, leaving his family bewildered and frightened. Austin, lost in the depths of his psychosis, wandered the streets of Jupiter, his mind a battleground of fragmented thoughts and terrifying hallucinations. Driven by a force he couldn't comprehend, fueled by a cocktail of drugs and psychosis, Austin attacked John Stevens and Michelle Mishcon in their garage. Neighbors, drawn by the commotion, witnessed a scene of unimaginable savagery. The police arrived to find a scene of unspeakable carnage. John Stevens lay dead in the driveway, his body mutilated beyond recognition. Michelle Mishcon, clinging to life, succumbed to her injuries shortly after, and Austin Harrouff, covered in the blood of his victims, growled at the officers, his voice a guttural snarl. The brutal and seemingly random nature of the attack sent shockwaves through the quiet community of Jupiter and beyond. How could a seemingly normal college student commit such an act of unspeakable violence? In the aftermath of the attack, as investigators pieced together the events that led to that horrific night, a clearer picture began to emerge of Austin Harrouff's mental state. His internet searches in the weeks and days leading up to the incident revealed a young man grappling with profound existential questions. He searched for topics like, "I think I'm going crazy," signs of schizophrenia, and how to know if you're possessed. His journal entries, filled with rambling thoughts and incoherent musings, offered further glimpses into his fractured psyche. Toxicology reports revealed that Austin had consumed a dangerous cocktail of drugs on the night of the attack, including synthetic cannabinoids. These synthetic drugs are known to cause severe psychotic episodes, including hallucinations, paranoia, and violent behavior. The tragedy of Austin Harrouff's story lies not only in the horrific act he committed, but also in the missed opportunities to intervene. The trial of Austin Harrouff, when it finally began in November 2023, was a grueling and emotionally charged affair. The prosecution, seeking the death penalty, portrayed Harrouff as a cold-blooded killer. They argued that his drug use was voluntary, that he was fully aware of his actions. The defense, however, mounted a vigorous insanity plea, presenting a mountain of evidence suggesting that Harrouff was in the throes of a severe psychotic episode. They presented expert testimony from psychiatrists and psychologists who had examined Harrouff. The courtroom became a battleground of competing narratives, each side presenting its version of events. The trial of Austin Harrouff was not merely about determining guilt or innocence. It was a referendum on how we, as a society, choose to address the intersection of mental illness and criminal justice. Throughout the trial, Harrouff's defense team presented a compelling case for insanity. They presented evidence of Harrouff's increasingly erratic behavior, his paranoia, his grandiose delusions. They showed the jury his internet search history, his desperate attempts to understand the terrifying changes occurring within his own mind. They called upon friends and family members who testified to Harrouff's dramatic transformation. The prosecution, however, remained unconvinced, arguing that Harrouff's actions were premeditated. The jury, caught in the middle, was left to grapple with the complexities of mental illness and the profound implications of their decision. The trial of Austin Harrouff exposed the profound limitations of our current understanding of mental illness. It highlighted the challenges of diagnosing and treating complex psychiatric conditions and the stigma that still surrounds mental health issues. The verdict, when it finally came, was met with mixed reactions. Some felt it was a just outcome, that Harrouff's actions warranted severe punishment. Others expressed disappointment, arguing that the verdict failed to acknowledge the profound impact of mental illness on Harrouff's actions. The case of Austin Harrouff serves as a stark reminder of the urgent need for increased awareness and understanding of mental health issues. It underscores the importance of early intervention and a more compassionate approach to addressing the needs of those struggling with mental illness. The unraveling of Austin Harrouff is a chilling reminder of the fragility of the human psyche and the devastating consequences when mental illness goes untreated. It's a story that should compel us to look beyond the headlines and recognize the shared humanity that binds us all. It's a call for greater awareness and understanding of mental health issues, for a dismantling of the stigma that prevents so many from seeking help. It's a call for increased funding for mental health research, prevention, and treatment programs. Most importantly, it's a call for compassion for those struggling with mental illness, for their families and loved ones, and for the victims of their actions.